A horse kick delivers up to 2,000 pounds of force per square inch. That's the equivalent of being hit by a small car going 20 miles per hour, except the car has hooves. And emotions. Now, most people think of horses as gentle animals, trail rides, pony parties, cute videos on the internet. But here's the truth. Not all horse breeds are the same. Some are calm, friendly, and perfectly safe for beginners. And some have temperaments so intense, so explosive, that even experienced riders get nervous around them. So today, I'm doing something nobody on this platform has done properly. I'm ranking horse breeds from least dangerous to most dangerous, based on temperament, physical power, recorded incidents, and wild instincts. We're going tier by tier, from the gentle giants you'd trust with a toddler, all the way up to the breeds that have genuinely hurt and even killed people. And I guarantee at least one breed on this list is going to surprise you. Let's start at the bottom. Starting in the safest tier, we have the gentle giants. These are the draft breeds, the cold-blooded horses. And despite being the biggest animals on this entire list, they're also the least dangerous. First up, the Shire horse. This breed can stand over 17 hands tall and weigh over 2,000 pounds. They are absolute units, but their temperament is famously docile. Shires were bred for centuries to pull heavy loads through crowded streets. They needed to be calm, patient, and unbothered by chaos. And that's exactly what they are. Right next to the Shire, we've got the Clydesdale. You've probably seen these guys in commercials. Big, feathered hooves, long flowing manes. Clydesdales are gentle, willing, and incredibly tolerant. They're the golden retrievers of the horse world. Also in this tier, the Belgian Draft and the Percheron. Both massive, both strong enough to pull a loaded wagon uphill, and both known for being calm under pressure. Now here's the irony. These horses could absolutely destroy a human if they wanted to. A Shire horse can kick with more force than almost any other breed simply because of its size. But they almost never do. Their breeding has made them patient, forgiving, and slow to anger. The Suffolk Punch also belongs here, one of the rarest draft breeds in the world, known for having one of the most reliable temperaments of any horse. So if you're looking for a safe horse, go big. The gentle giants earned that nickname. Moving up one tier, we've got the breeds that are still considered safe, but they've got a bit more personality, a bit more fire. Nothing dangerous for an experienced rider, but maybe not ideal if you've never been on a horse before. The quarter horse sits right here. This is the most popular horse breed in the United States, and for good reason. Quarter horses are versatile, athletic, and generally easygoing, but they're also fast, incredibly fast. They hold the record for the fastest speed over a quarter mile, which is where the name comes from, and that speed comes with a higher energy level than the draft breeds. The Appaloosa is also in this tier. Beautiful spotted coat, good temperament overall. But Appaloosas can be stubborn. They're smart, and sometimes that intelligence translates into a horse that tests boundaries. The paint horse, the Morgan, and the American saddlebred all land here too. Solid, well-rounded breeds. Great for experienced riders. Slightly more reactive than the gentle giants, but nothing that should worry you. The Friesian is an interesting one. They look intimidating. All black, long mane, heavy build. They look like war horses. And they were war horses historically. But modern Friesians are actually quite gentle and willing. They're eager to please and bond well with their owners. So the Friesian gets placed in the safe tier despite its fierce appearance. Looks can be deceiving. Now we're getting into the breeds where the average person needs to pay serious attention. These aren't bad horses, but they're the ones that punish mistakes. If you don't know what you're doing, these breeds will let you know. Let's talk about the Arabian. The Arabian is one of the oldest horse breeds on earth. They've been around for over 4,500 years, and they were bred in the deserts of the Middle East, where being alert, fast, and reactive meant survival. Arabians are incredibly intelligent. They're loyal. They form deep bonds with their riders, but they are also hot-blooded and highly sensitive to everything around them. Loud noises, sudden movements, unfamiliar environments. An Arabian can go from calm to full panic in a fraction of a second. And when an Arabian spooks, it doesn't just flinch. It bolts with explosive acceleration. If you're not ready for it, you're on the ground. Arabians are also known for being one-person horses. They bond with their primary handler and can become difficult or unpredictable around strangers. The Akhal-Teke lands in this tier as well. This is the golden metallic-coated breed from Turkmenistan. Stunning to look at, but their temperament has been described as hot, independent, and at times confrontational. They were bred as war horses and desert endurance animals. They don't have the patience of a draft horse, and they don't forgive sloppy handling. Some Akhal-Teke owners love their intensity. Others have called them, and I quote, bloody-minded. The Standardbred also sits in this tier. Mostly known for harness racing, Standardbreds can be calm, but retired racers sometimes carry nervous habits and reactive behaviors from their track days. All right, now we're in the danger zone. These are the breeds that have documented histories of aggressive behavior, unpredictable reactions, and serious injuries to handlers. The Thoroughbred. This is the breed that dominates horse racing worldwide. And there's a reason jockeys are considered some of the bravest athletes alive. Thoroughbreds are fast, powerful, and extremely high-strung. They were selectively bred for one thing, speed. And when you breed an animal purely for explosive performance, you get a nervous system that's constantly running hot. Thoroughbreds are sensitive to touch, sound, and pressure. They can be stubborn, reactive, and resistant to commands they don't agree with. There's a saying in the equestrian world. A thoroughbred will give you everything it has, but it'll also take everything from you if you're not careful. Off-track thoroughbreds, meaning former racehorses, are particularly challenging. They've spent years being trained to run as fast as possible. Retraining them for regular riding requires patience, experience, and a high tolerance for unpredictability. Now let's talk about something a lot of people get wrong. Stallions. Any breed of horse becomes significantly more dangerous when you're dealing with an intact male. Stallions are driven by hormones. They're territorial. They're aggressive toward other males. And during breeding season, they can become genuinely unsafe. But some breeds produce stallions that are on another level. Thoroughbred stallions and Arabian stallions are both known for being extremely difficult to manage. This isn't a flaw. It's biology. But it absolutely belongs in this tier. The Marwari also sits here. This Indian breed with the distinctive inward curving ears was bred for war. They're brave, spirited, and fiercely loyal to their rider. But that same warrior instinct makes them aggressive in unfamiliar situations. And they don't back down easily. We've reached the top of the list, the most dangerous tier. And I want to be clear here. These aren't bad horses. They're not evil. But they are the breeds most likely to seriously injure or kill a human. And there's one very simple reason for that. They're wild, starting with the Mustang. American Mustangs are feral horses. They descend from domesticated Spanish horses that were released or escaped hundreds of years ago. And over generations, they returned to wild behavior. A wild Mustang has never been touched by a human. It has never worn a saddle. It has never been in a stable. Its entire survival strategy is based on running from threats and fighting when cornered. When humans round up Mustangs for adoption programs, the initial handling phase is one of the most dangerous things in the equestrian world. These horses will kick, bite, rear, strike with their front hooves, and attempt to jump out of any enclosure. Can Mustangs be tamed? Yes, and many become wonderful riding horses. But the process is long, difficult, and not without serious risk. The Brumby comes next. These are Australia's wild horses. Similar to Mustangs, they descend from escaped domestic stock. But Brumbies have been wild for even longer in some cases, and they've adapted to some of the harshest terrain on the planet. Brumbies are tough, resilient, and fiercely independent. Catching one is hard. Taming one is harder. And finally, at the very top of the danger list, the Przewalski's horse. This is the only truly wild horse species left on Earth. Every other wild horse, including Mustangs and Brumbies, is technically feral. They descend from domesticated ancestors. But the Przewalski's horse has never been domesticated, not once in its entire evolutionary history. They are stocky, powerful, extremely aggressive, and completely untamable. You cannot ride a Przewalski's horse. You cannot train one. They will bite, kick, and charge at humans without hesitation. There are only about 2,000 of them left in the world, mostly in Mongolia and parts of China. And every conservation program that works with them treats them as genuinely dangerous wild animals. Because that's exactly what they are. So there you have it. Every major horse breed, ranked by how dangerous they are. From the gentle Shire that would let a child braid its mane, all the way up to the Przewalski's horse that would stomp you into the Mongolian steppe without a second thought. But here's the thing I want you to remember. Any horse can be dangerous. A 2000 PS I kick doesn't care what breed is attached to it. The difference is how likely that kick is to happen. And that comes down to breeding, training, and respect. Respect the animal. Understand its instincts. And never assume that any horse is completely safe. Now I know some of you are going to disagree with my rankings. And that's fine. Drop a comment and tell me where I went wrong. Tell me which breed I ranked too high or too low. I want to hear it. And if you want to see me rank horses by intelligence, speed, or beauty, let me know. I'll make it happen. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one.